Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
Dude, I've been great, man. I've been great. Traveling a lot. Not as much as you, but still traveling a lot these past couple weekends to start off the month. Went to Michigan after our last podcast, and I went to Dallas for literally, bro, 36 hours. So all easy, bro. No travel issues. Able to see some close family friends. So no complaints, bro. But I'm excited to hear about Korea, bro, because the shit you guys were posting, I was like, yo, how much is a flight? Can I meet them halfway? So let the people know how those 10 days away went for you.
Nice. And speaking of Asia, I have some good news for people who want to go there cheaper. I found a loophole through a friend. Unfortunately, not till I was already there. But now I'm like, shit, I could go back twice a year and make this be inexpensive.
Like flight-wise or?
Yeah, flight-wise. So I'll just get into that right now. So there's an airline for anyone who's listening called Zip Air. And I guess they're a new budget-friendly airline, but they're not like Spirit where it's shitty and uncomfortable.
And you're standing.
Yeah, or something like that. My friend Alex was joking and he said there's probably a lottery system where they pick a random seat to suck the pilot's dick or something. But the catch is from the US, it only flies out of LA and San Jose now that I think about it. So that's one thing.
It's West Coast based.
Yeah, I guess because it's just closer.
Sure.
But it's $300 basically economy or $1,200 for first class full recliner seat and everything. It has Wi-Fi. I think the only other catch is you have to pay for your meals, but other than that, it's
but a lot of airlines do that, bro. When I went to Europe 4 years ago, Norwegian airline is charging me for fucking bottled water on an 8-hour flight to Portugal. I'm like, yo,
that's ridiculous.
Yo, I was like, yo, fuck you, bro.
Go to the bathroom sink and drink out of that.
Yeah. But go ahead, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, no worries. So if anyone ever makes their way out to the West Coast first, maybe that's a more inexpensive option. Because I mean, it might be, I don't know, let's say $250 to go from Florida to there, and then you pay extra $300, you're still saving $1,000.
Yeah, it's not $550 to get to Seoul, South Korea from Miami, so that's for sure. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep. But yeah, the trip overall was phenomenal. We didn't do a ton of touristy things, I guess you could say. We did a lot of just walking through the city. We went to a temple on this island that's an hour away flight from Seoul.
Okay, so you called multiple flights while in Korea.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, just one out to that island.
Right, but you weren't just isolated to Seoul. It wasn't just one spot for 10 days straight. Okay.
Yeah. And to my surprise, that flight was I don't know, $50. And the island, I thought originally it was going to be just hang out on the beach and that's all there is to do. But surprisingly, there was a ton of stuff that we could have done. We obviously didn't get a chance to do it all, but we did ATVs. They even had a gun range there. We visited a temple. That was probably my favorite scene that I saw.
Nice.
Took a ton of pictures of that. And then outside of that, obviously the food I think was the biggest highlight. Just a ton of affordable, good
the sushi
Asian
you guys
food.
were posting, I was like, sheesh.
That's what was crazy is sushi's obviously a Japanese thing, but we couldn't. I think we got sick of eating grilled meats over and over and over, and it kind of fucks with your stomach too. So the sushi was a clean way to just eat. We couldn't get enough of salmon. We probably ate sushi 4 times. So yeah, that was phenomenal. Probably drank a little too much. I think we drank pretty much every single day. And the reason why we were able to keep going is in Korea, you can go to pharmacies and it's super popular to get these hangover remedies. So you just drink one of those things before you go out, drink again when you're done and you're home, and then you wake up just clear as day, no after effects of a headache or nausea or anything. You're just good to go again.
But when you say drink too much, because this is my thing, on vacation, what else are you meant to do? So
I guess drink too much as in we felt it weighing on us. We went hard. And then by day 4, we're we feel groggy and doing activities was starting to feel like a chore. And like in our heads, we're like,
5 days left here. I gotta figure this shit out.
Right. So once we got the remedies, it started allowing us to like just keep going.
Gotcha.
So that was a nice little secret that we found out through one of Sarah's friends. And then beyond that, yeah, we went out to some clubs. They played a lot. So how they do it is they kind of have like the bars and stuff that are foreigner friendly, and then they got the bars and stuff that are pretty much exclusive to locals. We obviously went to like the more foreigner oriented ones. They probably play better music that we like anyways. But this one spot called Brand New, we like so much. We went there twice. They played so many bangers. A lot of them I had never even heard.
Oh, wow.
That
has to be a dope feeling. Like you're like Shazamming shit in a foreign country about hip hop. Like that's dope. That's
what like blew my mind, because I was like, oh, they're probably just going to play like God's Plan 15 times or something. Yeah. But no, they knew what they were doing. So yeah, overall it was a great experience. I think the biggest takeaway and thing I enjoyed was like the safety and just sense of like respect amongst everyone. Like there wasn't much litter. People, followed the rules in terms of, on the escalator, everyone on the right let you pass, on the left. And coming from San Francisco, like I can't keep my eye off my pockets or anything. Whereas there, people were leaving their purse on the table for 15 minutes, coming back later, like untouched.
Right.
And I think they just have a much better system as far as respecting the country and the people within it. I know the US is a melting pot, so it's always going to be difficult for everyone to like their identity to be this country and respect it and everyone in it. Like,
especially the major cities that we live in.
Yeah, right, that's
exactly. Even harder, right? Because they always say about like Southern value and Midwest. Like I think like going back to when I grew up in India and like traveling like in East Asia or that part of Asia, like customs matter. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like tradition matters. Whereas like it's hard in the States because like, all right, which traditions do we apply? Because it's every race is here. So which one is the most important one? So I definitely felt that when I went to Thailand. I felt that I'm like, everyone's like fully aware. Like, let's not cause chaos. Like, let's just like go about our life.
Right. And unfortunately, the military gets that reputation in Korea because I'm sure people are fighting and getting drunk and just being crazy. And I don't think in their culture like that macho energy is really a thing. Like people aren't super hyper masculine, like let me prove myself. I'm sure there's cases of it, but I don't think it's as extreme as probably in the US.
Sure.
So that was kind of eye-opening. But yeah, outside of that, I fell in love with Korea. Oh, we saw like several friends there. So I went to school with a guy who's in my fraternity. He's been living out there ever since. So we hung out with him. And kind of showed us around.
That's always nice, bro. That's such a nice feeling, right? Because you feel like you're taking something in with someone who's just like, dude, when I came to see you in San Francisco, it's like, bro, this is, dude, phenomenal. Let's just, whatever you want to do, I'll do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I'm sure you felt the same way.
Yeah. It was an amazing thing. To meet some of my in-laws as well, including my wife's grandmother.
Oh, so nice.
It was really cool. Like it was a full, well-rounded experience. We got to party and stuff, but also got to do the wholesome family dinners and everything. And then also got to keep it chill and hang out with friends. So it was a very well-balanced, like 9-10 days or whatever.
Dude, that's awesome, bro. I'm so happy for you guys, bro. Like, the videos and pictures looked phenomenal. Okay, so I'm going to ask you something. And if we have to edit this out, please feel free to edit it out. But I was thinking about you just because, like, obviously, like, your fam. Bro, we're obviously not going to name names, but 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, where all these massive fucking layoffs are happening in the tech industry. Mm-hmm. Like, did you see that shit over there? We're just like, bro, whoa. Like, what's like, should I hop on a flight back and figure out what's going on? Because I was nervous for you. I was nah, I think my boy's good, but I don't. Dude, you just see these numbers, like it's like, dude, like these are COVID numbers, the way they're fucking laying off people. So I was like, so like, what was going through your thought process as you're seeing all that shit? Because obviously that's your hub, right? That's all those companies are around you. So.
Right. Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up, and we could definitely keep this in because Alex actually showed me the news like while we were eating. I think we were either about to get on a flight or coming back from the flight for the island or whatever. And he showed me, and I was like, oh wow, like that's insane. And I went to LinkedIn, and I have one friend who from school who works there, and he had referred me like 2 years ago. Unfortunately, things kind of fell through, so I never ended up going to Facebook or Meta now. But his post was like, I'm sure you heard the news. Like I was one of the 11,000 that was laid off, and I was like, oh shit, like this is everybody basically getting laid off from all departments. So for me myself, honestly, I wasn't too concerned just because I know my department's doing well. There was never any hint of like this happening. And I think we're on a different trajectory to where laying off just wouldn't make sense at all. Obviously it's now put me in the mindset of, okay, nothing's promised. I can't just assume next year I'm still going to be here. So
sure.
I think
anyone who's like has like aspirations for more has to be like on the edge. Not on the edge, it's probably the right word. Like, you know what I mean? Like fully aware, like, bro, like this is not going to be a forever thing. So
right. And for me, I think I was fortunate because I was pissed when I didn't get the Facebook job. I prepared ridiculously for it. But then in hindsight, I'm like, it happened for a reason. And
yeah, dude.
So moving forward, I guess if things I want to work out don't work out, I'm just going to remind myself there's other opportunities that are going to come. Like, yeah, it might suck right now, but whether it's 2 years, 10 years, like something is going to come in place of it. So
yeah,
I think it just made me grateful, but it's still happening. Amazon laid off a bunch of people.
Twitter,
I think LinkedIn did.
Burning to the ground.
Twitter seems like a joke platform now. I don't even know what's going on with that.
Dude, I don't know, man. Like the story about like the documentary about this whole process is going to be like insane, right? Because I feel like we're still in the mode just post, like, remember like when COVID was happening, we were like, bro, like when they do a documentary on this, like they're going to like air out so much dirty laundry. I think we're still in that age where like so much, like we still keep living in a wild time that we kind of just go with the flow. But dude, once people start digging into what the fuck is happening in the world, like in this time frame, it's gonna be like, bro, what did we allow to happen? So I think Twitter is gonna be a great case study, like in 5 or maybe like 10 years from now.
For sure. But everything went smoothly, thank God. Not as jet lagged as I thought I would be.
Dude, so how long is that flight?
The flight's 12 hours there and then 9 coming back. I think it's due to the headwinds or something, make it take longer when you are going there, or if whatever direction it goes in.
But direct flight from San Fran?
Yep, direct flight.
Oh, that's clutch, bro.
Yeah.
That just makes it like, let's get this shit done. You know, I can take a nap and wake up and I'm where I need to be. So that's dope.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is this was kind of like a controversial moment, but I don't know if you saw us eating or the live octopus thing.
Oh, so I didn't know if it was live, because I've always heard about, like, I've seen that before, but I thought it was a thing, like, it's not alive, but the movement just keeps happening past. Yes.
So
I knew that. I mean, I didn't, like, I was aware that, like, I knew you weren't eating, like, a live animal. Like, it was, it's dead, but the body parts just keep moving.
So you're one of the few people that was, like, educated on the dish. But someone responded, so for those who don't know, my wife's Korean, and this dish is popular in Korea. And I knew that when I posted it, I was gonna get some comments like, "Oh my God, what is that?" or "gross" or whatever. But someone, I won't name them, said, "This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen," and like no emojis or anything. So
like really you don't even know they're trying to be funny or not.
Yeah, but I know this person, and she's has a tendency to be very like
blunt,
rude and blunt and unfiltered, but like in an off-putting way. And in any case, my wife found out about it and obviously was super pissed because she felt like she was coming from a privileged position, and this woman was white.
Gotcha.
And growing up in Australia, she dealt with a lot of racism And there's always that classic story of the Asian kid bringing like sushi or something to school, and kids are like, "Ew, what is that?"
Yeah.
When it becomes popular in America, then all of a sudden everyone loves it.
Everyone's down. Everyone's down with kimchi when that shit's fired. But like,
yeah. So things were kind of like uncomfortable with that person, who I will have to see at Thanksgiving. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I didn't expect that to be a big moment.
That's interesting, dude, because like, I don't know, I feel like maybe it's not even me having like been on that part of the world. It's more so, dude, from just like watching dude, Anthony Bourdain my entire life. I feel like I've seen that before. So I was like, oh dude, like even if it was a lie, who gives a fuck? Like dude, you're in a fucking new country, you gotta try everything. Right. So damn, bro, you got fucking that's wild, bro. Like yeah, but dude, everyone that's they do. Like maybe, but the thing is, like maybe we have the privileged mindset. That you know what I mean? Like maybe we're the ones
enough
that
or whatever.
We're just like let's just do it. And like I feel like a lot of people, they're raised, especially they're raised in the States, bro, because the States is just so big. Like it's almost its own little continent that they think because they travel within America, like they're exposed to shit. It's like, bro, not at all. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I guess that's true. I think it was more so her tone rather than her
being
thinking it's weird or something. Yeah. Like most people are like, oh, what did it taste like? Or is it really alive? It just
you gotta tell me after offline like the exact comments of it, because I'm like super intrigued.
I'll tell you offline. But yeah. To dispel all the myths of it being nasty, it tasted delicious. If you know, especially if you know it's not actually alive, it makes it way less weird.
But like that was also part of like, you cooked that yourself though, right? Or no?
No, we just order it, and then in the back room they chop up the tentacles and then they put it on top of the raw beef, which is healthy to eat that way. Tastes
and salt and pepper that bitch, and that's it?
Yeah, salt and pepper, dip it in sauce, and it tastes amazing.
Fire, dude.
Like if you like calamari, then this is basically the same shit.
I love a calamari. Yeah. So yeah, dude, I'm telling you, next time you guys go, Gene and I are down, bro. Because I was looking at that shit, I was like, bro, we are out to Korea. Like that shit was, I was highly impressed. Want to go back. Yeah, I was highly impressed, bro. So yeah, I'm excited. That was a good trip. Did you manage to, obviously you did, but like, did you have to log in a couple of days and make work essentially out there, or you were good?
No, they like refused to. They're like, don't work. Like even if you do work, the only way you can count it as a day is if you're like actually working fucking 6 hours or something. So I was like, no, I'll just take vacation days.
Okay, sweet. So it worked out. Out. So now you have no PTO until next year.
Yeah, basically. And I'm glad too, because of course the 1 week I'm gone, like there's a million requests and shit coming through. So I'm like, thank God, because I would have been actually working.
Yeah, it wouldn't be just like, for sure. I won't say anything else, but yeah, you would have been working. But dude, a lot went down while you were away, while we were away. So I'm excited for this episode so we can just jump into it, because honestly, man, like we were on the week before or the week leading up to her loss dropping initially, but then they pushed it back because of the engineer getting sick. And I guess like the following week when we saw an episode, we're like, yeah, it's gonna drop. Dude, be honest, what were your expectations going in to that album, or the idea of that album dropping? Like, can you put your mind back to like 2.5 weeks ago? Yeah,
I think for me, honestly, I think, was it Jimmy Cooks? Is that the Jimmy Cooks?
Jimmy Cooks, the last track off.
Yeah, Jimmy Cooks. Basically, I expected it to be an album full of songs just like that. Just heavy trap bangers. I wasn't expecting anything brand new from Drake or 21 Savage in terms of like the content or the flow or anything. I was just like, it's gonna be a bunch of Jimmy Cooks alternatives that are bangers. They're one of them at least. Cooks. Yeah, I love Jimmy Cooks. Yeah. So when I saw that all the promo and everything, I assumed this is what it was gonna be like, and sure enough, I feel like it did adhere to that sound and vibe. So I honestly feel like I got what I expected.
Was it what you wanted?
Was that what I wanted? Yes, I would say so.
Yeah. So for me, dude, I'll be honest. Like I didn't have low expectations, but I'm like, man, this nigga Drake is like third album in 11 months. I'm like, dude, like, I think he's reaching this point where, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, he's reaching the point where he doesn't care anymore, bro. The money's stupid. They're talking about like he's really a billionaire, but because it's Canada, they can't like, they claim it differently or some shit. So like, bro, this guy's so rich. It's like, who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah.
Bro, this album from the jump, like I was in Michigan and like we got there like when the album dropped, by the time we landed, like Thursday midnight, Friday morning. And I was like, man, like they're like, oh, put the album on. It's like a group of 5 of us, bro. And I'm like, nah, bro. Like I'm not trying to like, I need to listen to this shit by myself. Like I don't want your opinion. I don't want to hear your takes. Like I need this for myself. And dude,
right
from the beginning, that album is just, bro. Like there's a couple of songs I chose to skip. But if you want to say there's 18 tracks of non-skip songs, I would also agree with that take. And just the energy, bro. Like the energy from this album almost made it hard for me to check anything else that came out over the last 2 weeks because, bro, it's hype. And it's like, I don't even know, like I didn't low-key didn't even know this kind of Drake existed, to be perfectly honest. Because like, at least with his other projects, Remove Honestly Nevermind, there's always a sense that like, all right, the next 3 songs will be just female-oriented, him singing. Like, dude, to get these many tracks of him rapping, and like on some, dude, on like fuck everybody shit, I was like, yo, I didn't even know he had this in his arsenal. So if we're getting impressed by him, well, at least if I'm getting impressed by him this much, dude, 12 years in, dude, that's a fucking massive win in itself.
Yeah. But for me, I would actually say I felt the opposite in terms of getting a new Drake. I felt like I got the same Drake, but the rappy Drake is what I prefer the most.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan of his like R&B oriented songs. So I think that's why, for me at least, I like this project a lot more than maybe some of his others. I didn't feel like I feel like the flow and everything was what we've kind of already been getting, but the songs themselves are so good I didn't mind.
Okay.
Similar to your point about, you know, he's done everything, like does he care anymore? I feel like for me at least, he's reached a point where he has kind of peaked. Not to say that he can't make good music anymore. I'm sure if he continues doing and releasing more stuff, I'll still add it to my playlist and enjoy it. But peak in terms of, if it's not a TikTok viral moment, like is it gonna be as big as like, I don't know, a God's Plan or maybe Hotline Bling or something where you just like, he's just pushed himself to some crazy insane level that.
But I mean, with those, I feel like those are like changing the sound of hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Or I guess that's what I mean.
Yeah,
like,
no,
I feel like the sound hasn't. He's not doing anything right now to where everyone's like, all right, we got to copy that shit.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a fair statement. That's a fair statement for sure. But I think I was just so impressed where like, yo, like for me, I don't remember the last Drake body of work that we got 17 songs of him only wanting to rap. You know what I mean? Because even with what the fuck is the second? The second track, the one about numbers. Man, what is it called? Let me pull it up right now. It's gonna be like the most obvious fucking name. Oh, Major Distribution. And he starts off singing, and you're like, all right, here's immediately we're gonna go into some R&B, and it's just like, nah, it's like the most like evil Drake sounding song in the world. That's an absolute fucking banger, and you're just like, holy shit. So
right,
I know for me, bro, this was like, dude, I'm telling you, like it's hard for me to stop listening to it, and then when I had it peep, we'll get to it a little bit later, but when I had it peep like the Nas KD3 album. Dude, it was hard for me to listen to that because I'm still in this like hype mode, bro. Like, and it's while this album, like, I want to be on this vibe, low key, straight through New Year's Eve. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, whatever party I'm invited to, like, if there's not at least 4 songs off Her Loss being played, like, it's not going to be a good party. So and I don't do because I don't know if you felt, dude, I was off Certified Lover Boy in 5 days. Like, bro, like. Some songs did grow on me over time, but like it was like a struggle.
Friends in the industry. Yeah,
it was a struggle for me to actually get through it. But and again, honestly, never mind. I'm into house music, so like I was always gonna love that shit. But like, it was cool to know I can get a body of work from him and 21 sprinkled in throughout it, like, yo, this is fucking wow to me.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on the Nas verse Drake thing. And I know it's like a controversial
and
thing
not
for
to compare, bro, because I'm not even trying to get down that road.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, my ears were so like, bro, we're here.
Right.
And then Drake and Nas is like, yo, like, what's he saying? Let's take this all in. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to stop vibing right now.
Right. And I think that context is important because it's hard for me to go from like 21 or whoever talking about putting money on your head, and then Nas is like, you know, denouncing beefs and saying like come together brothers and shit. Like you just feel like it's not a consistent vibe. But to go back a little bit in terms of was it what I wanted, I think mostly I forgot to mention though that I feel like Drake kind of overpowered the project in the sense of it felt more like a Drake project than 21. It felt like 21 was kind of featured, and I think it was different than when he collaborated with Future, where it felt like a nicer balance. Maybe it's because 21 Savage is a little more soft spoken and kind of like low key, but I think that was the only thing I wish there was more of, was like more presence from 21 Savage.
Yeah, so it's almost like it was, to you, it was like a Drake with 21 as opposed to Drake and 21. Like if we're getting like nitpicking, like it wasn't that much of a collab album.
Yeah, I would say so.
I got you. Okay, I didn't mind it. For the most part, I think it still felt like a Drake album, but 21 did get his own track. And again, just the idea of 21 even being on a body of work with a rapper who's going to be considered a top 3 rapper of artists of all time when this is all said and done. What do you think this does for 21's overall legacy?
I think for his overall legacy, at this point, he's proven that he's a staple within hip hop, regardless of the content of his music. I think he's proven himself to kind of expand beyond just being that street Atlanta rap dude, similar to like what Young Thug and Migos have been able to accomplish. They're no longer just like the street dudes that Drake kind of fucks with and wants to put on. Like at this point, you could argue he's, you know, as A-list or near as Drake. Obviously not as many, you know, top charting hits and shit, but like his name is gonna be up there with some of those guys in the current era. Like in terms of like legacy 20 years from now, I'm not saying he'll get just as much love as Drake or J. Cole or anything, but like within the early 2020s, I think he's up there as far as like top 10 people that the media and industry is going to gravitate towards.
Yeah, so I don't even know if the media ever will give him his flowers like that, but I will say, like, even the names you mentioned, the Young Thugs and the Migos and dude, whoever out about the Little Babies, I think this album just reiterated, to me at least, I think we've been on this wave for a minute with like, you know, dude, he's been bumping since like Issa and fucking those Metro Boomin mixtapes, and dude, his last dude, both the album with Morgan Freeman on the fucking, you know, on the intro, like that shit takes like, that's levels, bro. That's not like just a fucking throwaway album that he's trying to get out on his like deal. I think it just takes him to a lyrical level that I think the masses will now be like, oh shit, this guy's like a rapper, not just like a clever, funny mumble rapper from the South. Like, I feel like this will finally just shed a light on, I think, like things that people in hip hop have been saying for years. But again, because he's 21 Savage and like, again, maybe the different tattoos in his face and he's not trying to be commercial, right? So like maybe people aren't looking for it. But I feel like this just sheds a light on an artist who people in the industry know how fucking talented he is. And I think it's great that he's finally getting his flowers, doing crazy numbers. Because again, I mean, people enjoyed his last stuff, but again, I don't think it was moving hip hop. I feel like this project is, dude, a phenomenal way to end the year. And I feel like this is going to be the only body of work we're really talking about for like the next 2 or 3 months, where, again, I don't really think he's ever dropped a project where people are just stopping and like, bro, did you fucking listen to this? This is crazy. He said this, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's just more deserving right now.
For sure. And when I compare to Drake, I mean more so the current moment, kind of like when Fetty Wap, at a certain point, you could argue like people only cared about him, or like the Baby at one point, like people only cared about him like because he was the new guy who was taking over.
Sure.
Like Lil Baby. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, you know, like 10, 15 years from now, how people will treat him. Because I feel like nowadays people are so fickle. And unless you're like a Drake who consistently delivers for like 10, 15 years, I feel like people, like it's really easy for people to forget about you because we have so many new rappers every month just coming up with hits.
I feel like 21, I mean, I don't know when like Flexing on My Ex and all those songs were coming out, but I feel like he's been around, dude. We think it's about to be 2023 in a month and a half. I feel like he's been around, dude, for a good, 7 years?
I think 7 at most. I know that one song, is it M's in My Bank Account? I don't know if that's the name of the song, but...
Well, that song is 2017 for sure.
Yeah.
But he already had an album. Well, that was his first album, but he had a couple mixtapes before that. Mm-hmm. And like Flexing on My Ex was definitely before that. So I feel like definitely like 2016, 2017. So this motherfucker's going on like 8-7 years already out. So
yeah.
Even though I think he's still young, I don't think he's even 30 yet. So dude, kudos
he's 21.
to him. 21. So what were at all, before we move on to anything else besides her loss, what were some things that like surprised you about this body of work?
What surprised me? I guess 21's ability to kind of keep up with Drake. I know like a lot of his bars weren't necessarily the most lyrical, but I feel like he thrives in having like catchy punchlines and things that he only like someone like him could make land the way it does. And you don't like, I think we kind of set the bar low already in terms of him being this lyrical guy because that's not him, but it's still
but it kind of is enough. Though. I feel like that, like his legacy is becoming that super lyrical but catchy. Like it's not like hitting you over the head with it. It's just like it's gonna come in the flow of this very catchy overall song. Yeah,
and I think it complements Drake very well, and it doesn't make you feel like you don't want to hear his verse after Drake's or before Drake's. Like it's a nice mixture, and I guess I wasn't expecting that to necessarily be the case.
Okay. I like that. For me, what stood out the most was, well, two things. I'll say 1A was I can appreciate that this, and again, I just mentioned to Blair offline that I think Drake just dropped like a video of like the behind the scenes of making the album. This album felt to me like two dudes really in the studio together, picking each other's brains and like, all right, you go in the booth, let me hear what you got, and let me jump in, and if like, one person killed it, someone else is going in and say, all right, let me just change my verse real quick. As opposed to, it's like, I don't know. I know Drake and Future dropped that album because they were on tour, but that didn't feel like a very cohesive album that they've been actually thinking about. It's like, bro, we're on a tour bus. Let's just fucking drop an album to keep promoting the tour kind of a thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or like, even like, I know like Juice WRLD and Future had like a joint album. Like, it didn't sound cohesive. It just sounded like, yeah, let's just send me your verse and I'll send you a verse back. Like, this felt very much like, dude, two dudes in the studio. Like, bro, I love working with you. Let's just fucking get into the studio for 3 months and do nothing else. So I was most excited because I feel like you feel that, right? Like there's certain ad libs and like perfect back and forths that like, yeah, you can have the best engineers in the world and best producers, but you can't recreate something that was never there in the first place. So that was the best. That was really cool to hear. The second part that was the most standout was the shots, no pun intended, that Drake was putting out. Like,
yeah. How could I forget?
Yeah, like just like him like dissing and like going at people or whoever and like just not giving a fuck, right? Because sometimes like in the past, like he, again, obviously he had the Meek Mill beef and he dropped 2 great songs, blah, blah, blah. But like, that was almost like, that was fucking 7 years ago. You know what I mean? And even with the Kanye shit, he never really said anything. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't really anything. So for this one to have like the line about Megan Thee Stallion, the line about Jay Prince and the Ops, the shit going at Adidas, right? It's just like feeling very much like, bro, I feel so comfortable and you can, because that line about Megan, bro, I don't think any other rapper gets away with that. Like we can joke about it, we can fucking hint at it in interviews, but for the second biggest artist in the world after Taylor Swift apparently, to drop a line saying that this girl is lying about getting shot, bro, and especially who she is, right? Because she's not, again, we may not respect her music, but she's a fucking American star. So for him to say that shit, bro, that's a guy saying, bro, I can say whatever the fuck I want and you can't do shit about it.
Right.
So that part was like shocking, but also he said it in such a clever way that like, yo, how can you not fucking like this, you know?
Right. And regardless of who he is, like his reputation could be on the line, just like we've seen with Kanye. But that begs the question, do you think Drake knows something we don't then if he's willing to go this route? Because he knew someone was going to get upset. So do you think he has information on this what happened?
I think I know that Drake and Tory are super close.
Yep.
So I think he will just, and I think he just like, yo, if my man is saying this is what's happened, then yes, then that's what the fuck happened. You know what I mean? So, but again, he said it in such a clever way that I think even Lil Yachty jumped in. It's like, no, he's talking about like girls getting fake butt shots, but they still look like a stallion. And we're like, my guy, I love you to death, but shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, there's no fucking way.
Drake knew what he was doing, but I think to Yachty's credit, like he did it in a way where it still left a little room of doubt. Yeah.
It could be that. But I also like on the shocking part of all that, I guess people are saying again, I can't remember the exact track right now, but they're also saying that he had a line for XXXTentacion. Have you heard about that?
No.
Dude, so again, I don't remember the song, but the verse where like the beat drops and like almost stops, he's like 20, break it half, do a 10 again, do a 5, blah blah blah. If you would have kept your kept your tongue quiet on that live, you'd be alive again. And like everyone is convinced these are shots for XXXTentacion when XX like dissed Drake on a live and said, "I'll fuck your mom. I dare you to diss me. I'll end your old ass career." Blah blah blah. And I'm just like, man, for me that's a reach.
That's a reach. But we know like so many rappers who have talked shit on live and then fucking died.
That's my point.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing that links that and like Drake is like him saying 10-10 like twice. But I'm like, bro, that's a fucking...
No, that's some like Illuminati like YouTuber shit where they have just picking at things that don't exist.
Yeah. No, facts. But I'm like, bro, because I know like, again, Drake went savage mode on this shit. But I don't think he's like pissing on people's graves. You know what I mean? Like, bro, that's a child, bro. That guy's 20 years. Like, yo, I don't think he's doing that. So
yeah,
that
and
was
this far, like after the event too,
bro. 5 years after a fucking 19-year-old's death, you're like, yeah, fuck you, bro. Like, I don't think he's that guy.
No, there's no way.
But yeah, I just thought the disses and just the cleverness of it all, right? It wasn't just like, yo, fuck Kanye, he set me up, blah blah blah, like. The whole, like, it just flowed, bro. So, again, kudos to, like, them just being, like, absolutely in their pocket. And I guess the last thing we can jump off before this, what were one or two absolute standout tracks for you that you were just like, man, repeat that shit?
On some BS, like, absolute fire song, fire verses. I replayed, I forget if Drake has one or two verses, but whether or not like towards the end, I think that's his best part when he's like, I'm a gentleman, I'm generous, something. They're my nemesis. That whole song is just I think the epitome of, it's like a 21 Savage beat with Drake on it, and I think it's just like a fire combination. And then, you know, I'm a huge Travis Scott fan, so the other track.
So you like Sicko Mode Part 2? Basically,
I feel like it had more of like a soulful sample sound though to it.
But like, you know, when that beat changed for Travis, you're like, bro, you guys need to get creative on this. This is just like.
But again, it's that sometimes the repeated formula for me is like all I need. Sometimes it can get annoying if I'm just getting the same shit over and over.
Right, and we only have literally 2 Travis and Drake songs. So, like, if you want to keep that story going, like, in its own little universe, like, I hear you. I'm all for it.
Yeah. So those 2 were, like, my immediate add to playlist tracks.
Nice. So I have the 2 for me, and, bro, it could have been, like, 10. But the 2 for me is Back Outside Boys, Just Drake. And, like, dude, that shit is, bro. everything he's spitting is fuck. I'm just like, bro, like, how can we go clubbing tonight? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what do I have to do to go out tonight? And then the second one, dude, Circo Loco, the one that he actually has the bars for Megan and Kanye on that one. And then, dude, again, I love Daft Punk. So the fact that you can sample that beat, and kind of to Jalen's point and a point that we made in the past, like, it's sampled, but not just, for me at least, it wasn't like the exact song. You know what I mean? Like, there was still enough trap and hip hop elements to like change the beat up, but you obviously know where that beat's from. Right. I also appreciate that, because again, I think I told you online as well, like, I hate Staying Alive. I'm like, bro, you just copied this song in its exact form and then just put your verse on it. I'm like, dude, I feel like you're better than that, right? And I know a lot of people are doing that right now, but I'm like, bro, you're better than that fucking trend right now. So I really appreciated Circo Loco, because it felt unique, different. And also 21 Savage had a line about my favorite soccer team. I got to see the Gunners win the Premier League. I was like, bro, like, this is everything I want in 3 minutes of music. So I was like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, I love all those tracks. And to your point, like, so I was listening to Circle, or the album itself, like, I think the second or third morning I was in Korea, and I was blown away just by how diverse the different beats and production were. And I think that's one of my favorite Daft Punk songs, maybe my favorite. And the fact that they were able to do something new with it was dope, because I think I actually feel like a lot of people in hip hop aren't too familiar with Daft Punk either.
Which is crazy, because I feel like they're like the epitome of what hip hop is in the essence. Like, they're like, you know, at its roots, it's like against mainstream culture is how like Daft Punk even started.
Yeah. So I like those like more obscure samples that like most rappers wouldn't think to work with.
Yeah, and then, dude, so I guess that the last thing before we move on is, you're Lil Yachty playing an influential part on like 4 or 5 of these tracks. Especially like on Back Outside Boys, like, it's his ad-libs that almost feels like a feature. And it's like, it's so needed. And like, we always saw pictures of him hanging out with Drake, and like, everyone swears this kid's a genius, and I'm like, I don't hear it. You know what I mean? But like, your thoughts on like, oh, fuck, dude, this is like a stamp of approval on Yachty's career that I don't think he ever really fucking had up until this moment.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, on the surface, it's hard for me to see it, just because I do like a handful of Lil Yachty songs, but in general, I feel like it's not really meant for me.
That's how I feel too, yeah. Because everyone, again, I think it came out when I was with hanging out with you in San Fran, but like, Poland does nothing for me.
Same. To me, it's like just like a funny thing to hear. It's not like I actually want to listen to it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, this is haha, bro. But like, people love that song. Like, the video has done crazy numbers on YouTube. I'm just like, bro, like, what am I missing? You know? So, yeah, dude, kudos. I did not think he was getting a fucking Drake co-sign like this. Yeah. Because, bro, for him to produce 4 tracks on this fucking body is, wild.
I think he's just so different that, like, rappers like Drake appreciate him, because they would never think of the random stuff that probably flows through Yachty's head. So I'm sure that gives him extra inspiration, because he's not like a rapper who will think of the same generic lyrical shit. He'll like,
they're not trying to be either.
Right.
I feel like the credit to him is like, he's not trying to like fool us. He's like, no, I am what you think I am, but it's also good. Kind of.
Yeah. And even when I listen to the Poland song and think it's like funny and like bad singing or whatever you want to call it, I still think to myself, man, I would have never thought of this. So maybe Drake just taps into that and like tweaks it and makes it like work for him.
Yeah, and then also like, again, you're only as good as your like the circle you're around, right? So I'm sure him in the studio with Drake and 21 forces him to like, I'm gonna do my weird shit, but like it has to be at a certain level for them to even like consider it. So.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, dude. Yeah. I mean, I know I could talk on Her Loss for like another 14 hours, but we'll move on. I'm like, what about this line on this song? Did you like that? Did you hear what I heard? But it's all good. We'll save for a Heat of the Week or another episode. But I guess coming out of the Her Loss controversy, 21 Savage has been on every popular person streaming, Twitch, YouTube, podcast. I guess he was on, Club Room. What's it called?
Clubhouse.
Clubhouse, yeah. And he made a comment that Nas is irrelevant, and he just has like super loyal fans, and everyone lost their fucking mind. Like people who don't even like listen to modern day hip hop lost their mind as well. And then this is an conversation to Nas is dropping a great body of work last week, King Disease 3, every track produced by Hit Boy. I think you and I both agreed, texting, that we both love the body of work, but it came out when Nas' sales were released that he sold 25,000 copies. And in most people's mind frame, you sell 25,000 copies your first week, you're irrelevant to a certain extent. So I guess your thoughts on the comments, and like, do you agree or disagree with that overall perspective?
Yeah, I think talking about relevance is a tricky thing because music is so subjective, and Nas might be the most relevant person to somebody in, let's say, the Bronx or Queens, but some hood in Atlanta might not give a fuck about anything Nas is doing. So that's one thing. But if we're talking on like a broader spectrum, like within the industry, I would say Nas is still relevant. I would much have preferred if 21 Savage, like if he was asked the question, just said, I'm more relevant than Nas currently. Because I think when people say people try to equate relevance to like the legacy and catalog and everything. And we all know Nas's impact on the culture.
Floor, bro.
Yeah. Like it's not even a question. So, but I think Nas fans hear that and think, oh, your music's better than anything Nas has done. And you're like going to be hot just as long and everything. And that's when I went and looked back. I'm like, 21 Savage is only, 5 years in hip hop is a long ass time, but in the grand scheme of things, compared to Nas and Jay-Z,
Nas is going literally on 30 summers, bro. That's right. Fucking insane.
So for me, I'm just like, 21 Savage is more relevant than Nas currently, like within the mainstream conversation, but that doesn't mean anything to me as far as like overall impact and legacy. Like DaBaby was the most relevant fucking thing in 2019, and now like apparently he's
buy one get one tickets.
Yeah, buy one get one tickets, and not able to sell out shows. And that's not to knock him, and he did some things that also contributed to it, but
a lot of things.
Yeah, a lot of things. I know people kind of pressed him too here and there, but in any case, it sounds like 21 apologized, which he should have, or not even necessarily apologized, but addressed it. Yeah, clarified it, provided context. But I could see how some people would be disrespected just because Nas's content is vastly different from 21 Savage's, and no one wants to see the negative aspect of hip hop kind of override his conscious message and everything.
Yeah, dude, that's probably why. Yeah, you're right. And I think when you say no one, probably especially like the OGs and the OG fan base, right? Like they like, no, hip hop is sacred. And he's talking about, like you said, like educating young men and like making sure beef stops and everyone's cool. And then 21, like yeah, he's talking about putting fucking money on your head and you're fucking done by the weekend. So, but yeah, I do think 21 was proven correct though. Like, Nas is irrelevant in the main scheme of today's hip hop, right? And you can still drop a classic body of work, but if only a handful of people even looking for it, right? That means that's just the facts, bro. Like you can be great. Like great doesn't mean you sell the most, right? But selling the most or selling those numbers matter as far as are you relevant, right? So at this age, I think he's about to be 50 this summer. I don't even think he cares to be relevant. If we're being perfectly honest, like we haven't heard Nas comment on this, but like if you ask Nas who's more relevant, you or 21 Savage, I think he would give you an honest opinion and say 21 Savage is way more relevant. He just dropped an album with the biggest fucking artist in the world for a reason.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's even trying to be relevant. Dude, I think these last 3 bodies of work with King Disease, and I sprinkle Magic into these last 4 bodies of work, I think it's just him proving to modern day listeners and even his OG fans that like, bro, I can still make relevant music. Like you can listen to it in 2022 and enjoy it. But if it's not charting on the fucking billboards, I don't give a fuck, right? Because he's a fucking multi-millionaire, bro. Yeah. Like he's won for decades. So I don't even think he wants to be relevant. I think, dude, if you gave him an opportunity to just like release this to only 10 people to listen to, he also would be okay with that. So like, I think we're not even taking, like, no one's even asking, like, what would Nas say? I think Nas would agree with 21 Savage and, like, have no issues whatsoever with that statement because it's accurate, bro. Like, the masses aren't peeping for this, but you have to literally be like, I don't think people even know who Hit Boy is outside of fucking hip hop, bro. Like, people outside of hip hop know who 21 Savage is, regardless of the Drake song for years now, bro. Like, his songs are catchy. Like, girls just know this shit, bro. Every girl knows a lot. Like, every girl knows that song. So, like, it's just like, it's just a fact, bro. Like, if people can get butthurt and feel bad and yo, dude, I'm telling you, my New York City group chat, yo, my mans were ready to fucking ride to Atlanta and kill this man. And I'm just like, yo, I'm not getting involved here, but I don't think he's wrong. But I get why people get upset with that statement. But I think Nas would agree.
Yeah, he would. And if he doesn't, like, I would beg him to look in the mirror and realize how fucking successful, admired, and appreciated he is by actual people that give a shit about the genre. Like, I'm not talking about the casual girl that might listen to a couple of Drake songs and then go run over to Taylor Swift. I'm talking about, like, you and I. Like, he's solidified, even if we don't think his album is the best album of the year or whatever. Like, he's one of the GOATs. And we've already commented a million times how him and Hit Boy are like fucking Batman and Robin.
Bro,
and,
different level.
Yeah. Like, different it's amazing.
Level. Yeah. It's just and the fact that they're able to create beats that aren't like almost like the Circle Local, like not an odd, like I don't even hear a sample in the music. It just feels like original production, but bringing back like the essence of like the 90s. I'm like, how the fuck are you doing this? You know what I mean? For 3 albums straight doing that. Like at some point you think it would just sound like repetitive and boring and like every song is almost its own little movie. Like, dude, it's so well done. But again, it's like, dude, like it's like the expensive bottle of wine that we find at a fucking wine bar in Oakland, right? There's probably a fucking $400 bottle that we've never heard of, but we know it's gonna taste better, right? Or it does taste better. Or there's like a $25 bottle of something that everyone drinks. And it's like, yeah, dude, that one's more relevant because it's popular. But like, that's the better one. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone here thinks that Nas isn't better than 21 Savage rapping. Like, that's clear. You know what I mean? So like, it was weird to me. I'm like, bro, like, how are you mad about this? Like, it's fucking an accurate statement.
Right. And in general, like, we're in such a different era where relevance isn't even like really based on if your music's better. It's who's in, you know, showing their chain on social media and dating this girl and, you know, doing this club appearance and altercations and all this other shit that Nas obviously doesn't care about doing. And that unfortunately is going to prevent academics from giving a shit about posting something or whatever. Whereas when they did the fake Howard Stern thing and all these other things, it just adds to the effect of being spoon-fed to, you know, hip-hop followers and things like that. So obviously that's going to make someone, you know, more popular, especially with the younger crowd when they're seeing these guys on social media all the time.
Right. No, totally, dude. Yeah, I don't know what the number is, but I'm sure 21 has probably like what 5 times, 6 times the followers that Nas has. Like,
I think so. And I've seen him in so many interviews recently. I don't even think for this album, just in general.
Facts. Yeah, dude. Like, think of, like, there was no rollout for KD3 besides him posting it. Like, bro, that's not a rollout. That's just like a fucking post. It might as well you be at brunch. You know what I mean? Like, So yeah, it is what it is, bro. But it was just, I think 21 could have given more context. I totally agree. But it's also like, sometimes I feel like hip hop fans or like hip hop are just so quick to get offended by anything. Like, how dare you even utter this rapper's name? It's like, bro, like, who cares? Like, it's accurate. But but speaking of hip hop royalty or whatever, I want to do one more topic before we get out of here. I want to look it up. because the nominations for Album of the Year came out. We can focus only on hip hop though, because I want to get your opinion specifically on some of these fucking nominations for hip hop album of the year. Best rap performance. Where's it at? Dude, how's there only album of the year? I'm looking up. Oh, here it is. Oh, these are best rap. Oh, yeah, best rap album nominees, right? Let's get ready for this, bro. So the two that are no-brainers to me, right? They got it right. But it's 5 overall fucking nominations. So Kendrick Lamar, obviously, like, bro, like, even if we're not bumping that shit every day, like, we know how good it is, so you have to nominate it, right?
Yeah.
Pusha T, it's almost dry. No fucking brainer, bro. You have to nominate that. I mean, honestly, that's my winner. Regardless of whatever else came out this year, I think Pusha T's album is the best album of the year. This is where this shit gets crazy quick. So, number 3, Come Home, The Kids Miss You, Jack Harlow. Nominated for rap
You're
album
kidding
of the
me.
I swear on everything I love. Nominated for rap album of the year.
No.
All right. Number 4, I Never Liked You, Future. Again, I know Future's beloved, but in my mind, this album only had like 4 or 5 songs that was even worth playing. So, that's hard. That's a hard one for me to swallow. And then the one I'm most outraged about on every fucking level, bro. God Did, DJ Khaled, album of the year.
No.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, the all 3 as a whole are just like super disrespectful for the first 2 you mentioned.
Super disrespectful, bro.
And that's not to say they don't have bangers. Like, I literally have listened to Jack Harlow, the Dua Lipa song, probably 50 times. Nice. And maybe a couple other songs. But in terms of like, when I think of an album, I'm like, this body of work is like super cohesive, contributes to the culture. And even if you're not bumping it in the club every day, it means something and tells a story the way hip hop should. And I don't think any of the 3 albums that Harlow, Future, or DJ Khaled fit that criteria at all.
Dude,
the way they should, to be
the way they should, right? Again, and this is why, again, if you're looking for like why Drake isn't involved or whoever, Drake, didn't allow his album to be a part of this. But dude, if I can see, like, if his reason is he doesn't appreciate their criteria, dude, I agree with it wholeheartedly, bro. Because this is wild. Like, okay, whatever the Jack Harlow one, like, again, we didn't like it. I think the masses showed they didn't fuck with it. But whatever, I'll give that one a pass. The Future one, bro, whatever, man. Maybe we're missing something because that's just not, again, we love Future, but we don't love him like that. Like maybe certain parts of that's fine. Bro, the DJ Khaled is a compilation album that might as well be like a fucking random soundtrack to some fucking random movie. Bro, like, there's nothing cohesive about that.
Yeah.
So, like, dude, like, this shit would, like, I would lose my mind. I know it won't happen. But if this motherfucker, like, walks up on stage and gets a Grammy for this album, bro, that's insane.
Like, if Jack Harlow does, I think he'll do the Mac Miller thing and text Kendrick.
Bro, that's...
not Mac Miller, Macklemore.
Yeah, no, if Jack Harlow wins the album of the year, like, no, people are fucking, dude, pitchforking the Grammys. Everyone is fucking never submitting their album for consideration again. But, dude, my thing is, like, how can you even give DJ... Dude, no one listened to Khaled's album was like, bro, this is the best body of work this year.
Yeah.
Bro, it's 17 fucking anthems that he's trying to create. That, bro, if we're being honest, besides, I love the Quavo and Takeoff song, and I love God Did the song with Jay-Z and Lil Wayne. That's it, bro. No one's talking about any other track on that fucking album. So for you to even disrespect hip-hop by saying this is one of the... Dude, does it have Denzel Curry, bro? It doesn't have Freddie Gibbs. It doesn't have... Dude, all these other albums that we were like, bro, this was a staple in hip-hop this year that made people lose their minds over. Like, you're just also disrespecting the listener. Like, we know what we're hearing, bro. Like, how are we hearing something and you think that this other thing is even in this category? Is just wild to me.
Personally, I think Kendrick's gonna win. I know he's had a pretty good run with doing like late night show appearances. He's been releasing videos.
I think
I feel
Kendrick
like,
is just more beloved by America as a whole than
yeah,
Pusha T is.
like he's a safe choice, but I think a deserving choice. And I feel like if he wins, there won't be a single fucking complaint about the Grammys not picking the right person.
No, absolutely not. I agree with that. But I bump It's Almost Dry more than I bump Kendrick Lamar's album, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, for me, though, like, kind of like with Nas, like, dude, Kendrick Lamar, that's why I wish I saw I wish I saw them perform it live, because I heard it's more like a live experience that you really need to appreciate it.
Yeah.
But bro, like, it's such a hard listen. Like, not in a negative. It's not like, yo, this is trash. No, at all. It's such good work. But it's almost like you watching like a very depressing movie that's 4 hours long. It's like, I'm gonna watch it once and I'm like, phenomenal work, but I can't watch that shit every night. Like, I'm gonna lose my mind. That's how I feel with Kendrick shit. It's like, bro, it's so good, but it's so heavy, bro. And it's just like, bro, like at some point I want to be able to just like, you know, who's getting killed, bro? Like, where's the tracks in the bag? I want that.
Right. That's why I've been listening to Rich Spirit more recently, because I feel like that's kind of.
I heard he dropped the video for that.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I mean, it's pretty minimal, like not a ton going on, but you know how he is. He's super artistic.
Yeah, but Rich Spirit is like one of the few songs that is like, yo, run it back. But that's like towards the middle part of the second album. So it's just like, yo, it takes forever to get there.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, I wanted to see your reaction, because bro, like that Jack Harlow shit, I was like, bro, get the fuck out. Like Jack, I feel like Jack should have been like, bro, remove me from consideration. like I don't deserve this.
Right. That's amazing for Jack. I don't want to sound salty.
Sure. Yeah, to say Grammy-nominated artist, like
yeah. But I think it was kind of like, I don't want to say sympathy pick, but I feel like they couldn't ignore how big he became in the industry so quickly that they were like, okay, like this kind of makes sense, I guess. Yeah. Because he's such a big name, but there's other categories for that, right? Like best new artist and shit.
Or just say, dude, like to your point, like Dua Lipa was a popular song. So just nominate him for best like rap performance or rap song. Like that, you can do that and not go overboard, right? Because my thing with this is like, it's going to give more people, like, people will, once Kendrick wins, which I think he will win, are going to be like, yep, the right person won, let's move on. But dude, also I think hip hop people be like, bro, we can't even take you seriously, because who do you have in that office that's like, yeah, let's do this?
Yeah.
Like, and do they listen to hip hop? Like, and again, I know this has been a controversy going back to fucking like the Will Smith days, bro. So like at this point, it doesn't even fucking matter what we say right now. But it just gives people more and more doubt. And the fact that more rappers are saying, no, fuck it. Don't even consider my album. Like that's, I think it's going to keep leading in that direction if we keep getting shit like this. Because like, bro, there was tons of albums, bro. I know like 2022 was light, but bro, Denzel Curry's album is close to flawless, bro. So maybe not better
Vince Staples too. That was 2022.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like that should have been like, yo, what are we doing? Kind of thing. So yeah. But it is what it is. I think you're right though. Kendrick will win. He's a people's champ. Everyone loves him.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe Pusha T just talks about too much like cocaine dealing.
I think that would be the main complaint from hip hop if you won, is like, really, we're putting a drug dealer or like giving awards to drug dealers or some shit. Someone will complain about that.
Yo, but it's good though, bro. All right, man. Let's get out of here on Heat of the Week though. Episode 124. Could be a Drake song, could be whatever. What's one song when you were away that you were like, bro, this is the banger for me?
So my toxic trait is, as much as I love Nas, I always tend to gravitate towards the more commercial song on the album. The last album, that was YKTV.
Right, okay.
This album, my Heat of the Week, just so happens to be on King's Disease 3, which is Till My Last Breath, which is a bonus track.
Bro, I don't want to chime in, but dude, this was my beef. Right, I was like, because I also coming off like the mindset of listening to Her Loss too many times. But going through this album, I was like, bro, how is my favorite song your last song?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how did you not have 3 more of these, bro? So
Yeah.
Go on. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I had similar thoughts too. I thought there was like a couple bangers along the way, but this was obviously like you could play this shit at the club and I'm going crazy. And it was all the way at the end. I don't know if you put it as a bonus track, so the people who are saying it's too commercial wouldn't complain, or the people who wanted a banger wouldn't complain. So he's like, "Fuck it, I'll throw this on." Either way, it kind of reminded me of the vibe from Most High by Tory Lanez with the horns.
I can see that.
Feels very like New York clubby, and I just feel like he executed it very well. And I wish more conscious rappers would make songs like this, because even though it was commercial, it wasn't like some corny pop bottles in the club track. Like it just was more fun and less serious, I guess you could say, in terms of the subject matter. But I love that song.
Dude, so good. I'm telling you, dude, when I finished the album, I was like, bro, because like I'm not looking at my phone the whole time, but when the song finished, the first track is so obvious. So like when it went back from like to track 1, I'm like, whoa, the album's over and that was my favorite song. Like, how the fuck did that happen? So but yeah, no, great choice, already added to the playlist. Dude, for me, has to be Off Her Loss. Dude, yeah, I'm gonna go with Circo Loco, bro. It's just too good. Like, it's everything I want. It has the house influence, which I love, but it's also 2 rappers just fucking going in and riding a beat better than most, bro. So and that song is a song you can play 50 times in a row, because I did it in Michigan. And bro, no one gets tired of that shit. Like, bro, keep it going. You know what I mean? Like, like my boy's wife literally texted me like, yo, because they had friends over again the phone. Like, yo, what was that song you kept playing? And I was like, yo, it's so good. So Circo Loco, I mean, that should be nominated for a Grammy, even though it doesn't qualify. Like, nominate that shit. Because
I'm mad at it. I'm glad you appreciate the Daft Punk sample, because I feel like a lot of people are hating on it.
Dude, there's gonna be a lot of Daft Punk at the wedding. Trust me. So
nice.
I'm all about it, dude. But dude, great episode. I know we had the technical difficulties, but it was like an hour and a half long, hour and 20 minutes. So hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll be back. Yeah, I think we actually might take a break for Thanksgiving, so we might be back in December. But we're actively trying to get at least 1, if not 2 interviews before the year is up. So we'll make that work. So obviously everyone have a happy Thanksgiving. But let people know where to find us and what we got going on.
Yes, sir. Check us out at www.audio-theory.com. We got the Spotify and Apple Music playlists on there. New episode every week on all platforms as well as merch. We may or may not update it before the holidays, depending on if we can get new products out. But in any case, you can find some cool hoodies and t-shirts on there. So be sure to stop by and share with your friends and family.
Absolutely, dude. Share, tell a friend. And we're on TikTok, man. TikTok's going crazy right now. So I think that one video is at like 124K. Dude, crazy. So we appreciate all that love. So yeah, we'll see you after Thanksgiving. Love to everybody, bro. Love you too.
Yes, sir. Love you too.
We'll talk soon.
Peace.